Hey UMD, I have chapter 15 for you of the stars beneath our feet here for you today. And earlier in the week, I told you that something really crazy happens in chapter 15, so get ready. Remember, you can read along in your own book if you have it or on this video, and you can open up the Google Slides later if you want to look at the text for when you actually go answer the question at the end. While I'm reading, make sure you answer the questions that I'm giving you out loud. If you're next to someone, do a turn and talk, and make sure you're visualizing the story in your mind. You're making a mind movie. In today's chapter, they start off in Harlem, but then they go to the Bronx. I'm going to show you a little map of where those things are in New York City. Maybe you've been to them before. Lolly and Jermaine, or excuse me, Lolly's the most important character, but Vega and Yvonne, his mom's girlfriend, show up too. And we're going to definitely be dealing more with Jermaine's death in this chapter and something that Lolly does as a response to that problem. So something he does today would go in that R category if we were making Foursquare notes. All right, let's get started. As we read today, I'm going to be asking you a lot of why questions. I was thinking, why do we read books like this? And I think we read books like this even though they may have really sad things going on because it helps us to compare it to our own lives and the things that are going on for us. It's a hard time right now in the whole world. So reading about somebody else's hard time can give us maybe ideas for how to get through the hard times ourselves. That's why I know I like books like this. Today's chapter gets kind of sad, but I want you to be thinking a lot about, well, why did Lolly do this? Why would Vega say this? Keep asking yourself why about the characters and what they do when you read today. All right, chapter 15. Ding! The doors opened to the elevator just outside our front door. I walked behind our next door neighbor, old Mrs. Jenkins, and we stepped between the elevator doors. Mr. Williams was from the 10th floor, was already in the elevator, and another boy my age I hadn't seen before. After the doors shut, Mrs. Jenkins turned to me again, her eyes shining. My Lord, Lolly, she said, you sure are getting grown. Thank you, ma'am, I said, shifting my weight. The other kid didn't look at me. Just then, my phone chirped. I knew it had to be Vega. He had been waiting on me downstairs for a minute. They finally got around to fixing this elevator, Mrs. Jenkins said to me. How's Sue Ellen? That's his mom. Fine, I kind of sang. They got her working too hard down at the courts. Tell her I said she's blessed to have that job. Thank the Lord. Yes, ma'am. I was glad that for the rest of the elevator ride, she didn't say nothing. Old folks are okay, but I never know what to speak to them. We flew straight from the 7th floor down to the 1st with only the busy elevator smell to focus on. Yuck. When the door opened, Vega was waiting there. I could see the back of his shiny black parka until he spun around, rolling his eyes. Mira, Lolly, he said. I've been waiting on you forever. You're dramatic, I said. I watched the boy from the elevator step outside. Before he left, he had passed Vega a look like he had wanted to stick him. Vega just glared at him until he disappeared outside the door of the lobby. Then Vega frowned at me. You got me waiting on you in my new coat, he said, complaining some more. Shut up, Applehead. Let's go do this. Predict right now. What do you think they're going to go do? Got an idea? Save it in your mind. Let's see what happens. One thing I want you to notice about this map is, so this is New York City. This is part of New York City. And where they are going right now, we can see on this map. So they live in Manhattan in Harlem. 125th Street is right along here. They are taking the D train, which is this orange line, and they're going up to the Bronx. The Bronx is another section of New York City. They call them boroughs. But one thing that's really cool about Manhattan, where Harlem is, that's like the main part of New York City where all the big buildings are and stuff. It's actually an island surrounded by two rivers all the way around. It's kind of weird to think of a big city as an island. And the Bronx is across the river from the island of Manhattan. So that's where they're going right here where I'm pointing. So just so you can visualize it on the map. I remember when I learned that Manhattan was an island, I thought that was so strange. All right, back to the text. The D train rumbled along underground with me and Vega sitting inside. It wasn't that crowded. We had one of its ugly plastic orange seats between us. Vega was thumbing through his stuff on a phone. I got bored. I pulled out my tablet from my parka and started doodling. Remember, he got a tablet for Christmas? I glanced at the subway map again. It was posted just above the pom-pom hat of this old dude sitting beside me. On the map, I could see the number of stops we had to go before we would be getting off. I squinted at the tiny blue line on the map that was supposed to be the Harlem River. My eyes raced over the ceiling of the subway car, and I imagined the icy river water that was running way up above us. The Harlem River divided Manhattan from the Bronx, and the D train ran in the tunnel from Manhattan to the Bronx. But I had never really thought too much about that river water above my head. You didn't see the river, so you didn't think about it. New York City was surrounded by water that nobody ever thought about. I lived on an island, really. An island inside an island inside an island. Think about that in that map I just showed you. Stranded. Do you know what stranded means? Stranded means left without the ability to move to another place. So even though he's moving from one place to another, like within New York City, maybe he feels stranded. Why do you think Lolly would feel stranded? Think about it. Answer to someone next to you. I think Lolly might feel stranded because maybe like not having his brother around anymore makes him feel so alone that even though he lives in an apartment with some of his family, maybe he's feeling really alone and left behind. Maybe he's thinking of that as being stranded. I sighed. I sighed and wondered how many people had died in these waters. Ooh. Either by jumping into themselves or by somebody pushing them. How many people had even died in New York City since it's been around? A lot of dead, buried bodies, man. I started sketching a river with bodies beneath it on my tablet. Ooh. Why is he thinking about bodies in the river, do you think? Yeah, I think he must be thinking just so much about Jermaine's death. It's like it's creeping into everything that he's thinking about. We rose up out of the Fordham subway station into the Boogie Down Bronx. I didn't know why the old folks called it that, the Boogie Down. That's a real nickname for the Bronx. What was a boogie anyway? Was it like a booger? That would be nauseating. I hung the hood of my blue parka over my head and let the rest of my coat float behind me. It was a cold day, but I was feeling hot inside. It took me a minute to figure out which direction to head down Fordham Road, but Vega had found it already on his map. I scrunched up my face and we started walking. My stomach started to flutter a little from being so nervous, I guess. This was a bad day. A bad day to be in the Bronx. Lately, my days were bad days to be anywhere. The badness usually started in the mornings right after I woke. Sometimes I would wake up carefree, and then it would hit me. I felt like that before. Jermaine. And I would feel that heavy rock grow weightier on my chest while I was lying there on my back, still in bed. The rock would just sink dead into the center of my chest, right into my heart, like it was sinking into mud. I have definitely felt that before. Maybe you're thinking of a time when you have felt so sad or upset about something it's like a rock in your chest. Back to the text. Yo, is Big Rose still eyeballing you in the storage room? Vega asked. She tries to, but Ladybug keeps calling her away. That is weird, he said. That is a weird girl, man. Fordham Road was crazy crowded. This street had all kinds of stores and places to eat. It was like the 125th Street of the Bronx. I kept trying to pay attention to everybody around me, just in case some thug tried to start something. This was in a hood. Yo, man, Vega said. I hope that girl don't go bonkers up you up in the center, man. Bonkers? Bonkers? Yeah, you know she ain't right. He tapped the side of his head. She'd be spying on you hard every day you leave for the storage room to work on Harmony. I shrugged. Vega was getting dramatic again. Why do you think Vega said that about her, about Big Rose? That she keeps spying on him, that she's bonkers. Why do you think he's saying that? Turn to talk to someone next to you or think about it in your brain. I bet you're thinking, we know that she doesn't have many friends. We know Lolly got really upset when she was there at the last chapter watching him build his castle in the storage room. We know she doesn't really talk to anybody. So I guess he's just thinking like she might do something weird to him, or she shouldn't be, maybe she'll get upset that he's down there or something. Let's keep that in our brain. It's going to be important. Back to the text. Harmony was the name I had given my new city. I had been adding on more and more towers and buildings. A little city had grown around the House of Monicrum. Man, everything had expanded. So really visualize that in your brain. Remember, the House of Monicrum was the castle, but now he's built a whole city around it that he's calling Harmony. I had figured that I might as well give this new city a proper name. So I had Harmony, the alien metropolis of Harmony. And I liked it. As we hiked along Fordham Road, I kept looking at the addresses of the signs and shops. They had a lot of pizzerias around the street. I'm just saying, Lolly, Vega said, I don't want to walk in there one day and you dead, lying in a big gunky pool of your own blood. Vega was crazy. It was the crazy one, I thought. Then I saw it across the street. I guess he was talking about Big Rose right there, what she might do to him. Wow, that was more than I was thinking, but he is kind of crazy. That must have been it. Vega had stopped blabbering because he had seen it too. We crossed Fordham Road and stood underneath the big yellow and red sign that said Block. The nightclub beneath the sign hadn't opened yet. It probably wouldn't be open for a few more hours later tonight, when people would flock in here to drink up and party up, like Germaine had done in October. Oh, Germaine had gone to this place. Block was an ugly place. It wasn't nowhere I would want to hang out. I stood there in the cold, inspecting the building for a while. Vega went and fell down on the curb. I sat down beside him, and shoved my arms through the sleeves of my parka, zipping it up. It had got cold all of a sudden. This is it, man, I told Vega. Yeah, Lala, he said. I would have thought they'd shut it down or something after somebody was murdered up in there. I bet if they shut down everywhere in New York where somebody got smoked, there wouldn't be nowhere left open. I'm sorry, Lolly man. Oh, why did they go to this place? Yeah, this is the place where Germaine was killed. Wow, why would Lolly go there? That seems so hard. Extra text. I'm sorry, Lolly man. Yeah, I said, I felt that rock in my chest grow harder and heavier. This is it, man, right here. This is the exact spot. The rock got so heavy I couldn't stand it no more. I busted out crying, sitting there on the curb beside Vega. I didn't know how long I had sat there crying, but after I was done, the rock was gone. Still, I knew it would come back. Why did Lolly go to this place his brother died if it made him so upset? That's the question you're going to answer today. There's a little bit more left of this chapter. Remember when we see these 3 stars, that means the setting changes? Another Lego delivery, compliments of Yvonne Grayson Inc. Remember Yvonne, his mom's girlfriend, is the one who brings him all the Legos from the toy store. Yvonne shouted almost everything. She was just like Vega when it came to that. She stepped into my bedroom on Saturday and plonked the heavy bag of Legos onto my rug. I ought to start charging, Yvonne told me, and flicked the top of my head. It hurt. Yo, thanks, Yvonne, I said, rubbing my dome. You know, it's my pleasure, sugar, she said. You can use these bricks, do something beneficial with them. Besides, Tuddles would only be trashing them anyway. Tuddles is the name of her toy store she works. Why are they always tossing out so many Legos? I asked. It's a lot. Yvonne shrugged. I guess some of these go out of style and they think it'd be too hard to sell the new ones, the old ones. Getting new Legos was a good end to a bad day. I needed more nights like this. All right, so just going to preview you the kind of writing I want you to do today. You're going to answer one question, and people have been doing way better about using R and A to restate the question using the special words in the question or the prompts. Remember, you can't circle on your computer, so just make sure you know which words you really want to use to start your answer. People have been doing a great job of answering the question, and today I really want to push you to cite evidence. I really want you to go back and look in the text. You can look in the video and pause it. You can look on the other link in the directions that will take you right to those slides I was showing you in the background. Or if you have the book, you can look in the book. The text says. I want your second sentence to start with the text says. And then I want you to end it with a this shows that or this means that sentence for E. Remember, today in your answer, you should have at least three complete sentences to answer the question using race. Let me show you how it looks a little different today. I'm giving you a little help with how to do that. So today, you are going to answer the question first, just with R and A, right here. It's worth 2 points. Then, I gave you 3 lines from the text. Which of these 3 lines best supports your answer? Then, I want you to answer it again using the R and A answer you already wrote. So you're just writing that again. That's it. And then you're using the text says, go back up there and find it from number 2. And then finish it up by adding a this shows that sentence. That's worth 5 points. Remember, you get an extra point for putting in capital letters and a period at the end of your sentences. All 3 at least. All right, everybody, I can't wait to read your writing. Before you do, though, I want to show you a really great example of Stephen's work. Stephen did such a nice job on the last reading assignment. He is really good at using R, A, and C. Look at what he did. Remember that question about why Lolly feels like he's in his own world in the basement? He said, Lolly feels like the storage room is his own world because. That was R right there. He used all the special words from the question to start his sentence. Here's his answer. Because whatever he does, he always goes in there, and others can only go with his permission. So it's like it was belonging to him. Great answer. Now look at C. I know this because in the text it said, I feel like I was creating my own world. Notice he's got the quotation marks around it, the period at the end. He used words straight from the text to do C. Now, Stephen's going to work on using a this shows sentence to really connect his answer and the text. But he did an awesome job at R, A, and C here. So great job, Stephen. All right, everybody, I really hope I see your answer today looking a lot like this, with text evidence to prove that your idea and your answer is correct. All right, everybody, can't wait to see what you do. Call me if you want to do it together on Teams. I love you. Bye.